something that's important in any education system. If you leave kids to their own devices, I don't think that they'll be motivated to achieve. So these are things that you can actually fix. But we have to demand more of our schools because parents are, in many cases, not able to be all that engaged in their children's education. Sampora mentioned the Finnish schools. There are examples of best practice that we can follow, we can replicate. And for instance, having counseling services in your schools, having a more open and safe learning environment, I mean, however you want to define that, challenging your kids, having the right facilities, laboratories, computer labs, libraries, to be able for kids to get the experience that they should be getting out of the education system, and which a lot of our schools do not have the appropriate and adequate facilities. So there are a lot of issues that we can fix a lot of this stuff, but it will take time. And while we're taking that time, of course, the rest of the world is innovating in education as well. So we're constantly having we will be required to constantly come up with fixes that emerge as we're trying to get things working for Namibian pupils and students, and to address the inequality and poverty issues in our society. There's a lot more I wanted to say, but I think I'll leave it there and then we can discuss some of these things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fredrico. Let's quickly give another round of applause to everybody here on the panel for all of their insights and everything today. A little birdie told me that former Prime Minister Citizen Nas urgently wants to ask a question. Where are you, sir? There you are. Would you like to ask a question? Do we have a roving mic available?
He should concentrate on young people, because some of us are history now. I must thank the panel for their presentation and say that I am surprised that things I was dealing with 15 years ago are still the same. And I'm asking myself a question, why? I have some guesses, but perhaps it will not be wise to share them with you. Let me only say that some of those issues we dealt with in the sector of education. When I left the sector of education, I had a program called Education and Training Improvement Program. I even had to convene a round table of donors to make a contribution to that program. They did. But what happened is that every new minister who goes to that sector starts something else. Every new minister goes there, something new. That's why I think we are in cycles. I am impressed by the recommendation by UNICEF about how some things can change. I only want to comment on one. That the government should better concentrate on providing transport rather than hostels. Good recommendation. However, is it practical? Say you are a child from Kues and you are attending school, secondary school in Keetmanshoop. Will you really be able to transport that child every day from Kues to get my soap. I doubt. Now I come from the north, and there they are struggling with something different. They are trying to upgrade combined schools. I'm talking about schools which go up to grade 10 and elevate them to grade 12. I think there was a big story about Emanya Senior Secondary School. The Emanya Senior Secondary School is in my village. As much as the school grades were upgraded, there were no teacher housing, probably no proper libraries, and the result is what you have read in the newspaper. What I'm trying to suggest is this that for those recommendations to be effective, I think there is a need to do an in-depth study of all of them so that we don't repeat the same mistakes which are being repeated. I have many other things to say, but let me end here because I believe this is for the young people to ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Citizen Naz. We have time for one question, but the emphasis, please, is please make it to the point question or a to the point comment that obviously will facilitate a discussion. Please don't, who can I ask? Right there at the back. Oh, sorry, you've got the mic, sorry.
All right. I'm Vijay. I'm from University of Namibia, like what Fredrico was mentioning just now. When I came to this country in 2006, I was teaching at NAST, then it was Polytechnic. One semester I taught at Polytechnic, and then I was given this course called Introduction to Mathematics. When I was teaching that course, I realized why even the adults are finding it too hard to do this simple mathematics. Then it really frustrated me, and then I took my own initial steps, and then I went to NIET. I studied the syllabus and everything, and then I went to the NIET, and I told NIET, I gave a presentation to them, you know what, this model of education that you are giving, it is not going to address the issues now. You will be sitting with serious problems. So I gave them a presentation like how you can actually, from grade 12, you can career-wise motivate your students so that they are forced to take certain career directions, and then in the university level also you go in these directions. And I don't know what happened to that after that presentation. So after that presentation, I was talking to one person from the NIET. And then I said, the reason why I'm coming here is because of the reason, like last time I'm feeling this frustration. He told me this question, this reply. He said, now, the majority of the students, those who are in the tertiary institutions, like Polytechnic and UNAM, they are unfit to be there. That's a statement he made. Maybe he thought like I would just buy the statement and keep quiet, but I asked him again, do you have any system after your metric that can absorb the students before they go into tertiary institution? Then he said, there's no such thing now. Then I said, now, how come your school system produces a metric certified students, like 30,000 of them, 20,000 of them, and tells majority of them are not qualified to be a tertiary institution? That means you are running a very foolish education system. I said that on his face. Right, he said now, oh, you all foreigners come here, always complain about our education system. He made that statement. I said now, the biggest mistake that the education system currently has is now, I don't know, they are restructuring it now. I'm not happy about it because I was in that presentation of restructuring. I raised the question, it is not needed. They are supposed to, done even in the old system up to grade 12, you need to actually content-wise upgrade your system, your syllabuses, your curriculum. You upgrade those things. You know what is happening? I'm sitting at the educational panel, where the curriculum panel meetings. When the teachers complain, these topics are too difficult for the students, they are removing the topics from the syllabus. I have to be in those meetings. Literally, there was a meeting I was fighting with almost every person who was in the panel. I was telling them, you guys don't know How can you remove the topics in mathematics which can basically build the structural idea of mathematics that will help them to learn mathematics and science subjects at the university level that you can remove? There is a big problem here, right? The system is corrupt. I can say that. There was another panel meeting. The director, Pumoti from NIET was there. Sorry, sir, I have to finish this one. It's very important. I told her, why do you go to outside this country, Cambridge system, that system, this system, you buy all of them. Instead, you can come to the University of Namibia and NUST. There are mathematics people, there are physics people, there are chemistry people, there are biology people, commerce people, accounting, every subject. You have PhD holders and doctorates sitting there. You come and tell them, you know what, select a curriculum for me. That curriculum must be a standard curriculum from grade 1 up to grade 12. Fix this curriculum. Make a team. Fix it. What you need at the university level, can you do that? If they have done that one, that they don't want to do it. I don't understand why. So now this type of things are the biggest fault in the system now. It's corruption actually. Somebody is getting paid some money. They want that contract keep on going now. These are the foolish things that are happening now. That has to be addressed.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. A lot of applause for him for the passion, eh? Great stuff.
Okay, I'm going to quickly abuse some power, seeing that we were talking about corruption and governance issues and so on. I would also just like to ask, because we've now had a question regarding, you know, the thing about transport and hostels and so on. Then there was now the statement from the gentleman we've just heard. But I would like to ask, what is our best chance at really looking into the far future for our education? So I want to tie this into the inverse spending emphasis that you spoke of, the ability for our children to learn to educate themselves, because that is the future. If we cannot teach grade 2s or grade 3s to go onto the internet themselves and educate themselves, we will be further and further behind it. It's no longer a knowledge-based thing. And yeah, and obviously prepare ourselves for the future with regards to that. So I would just like all of you to comment on that. But let's first start from the one side. And that's all the questions for now. And we won't have any time, unfortunately. Who would like to go first?
I'm happy to go
first.
Okay,
Jess.
Is my mic on?
Is it on?
Yes, okay. So I think there were some strong points made about the curriculum, passionately. But I think before we even start looking at the curriculum, we've reformed, not we,